Her name was Marie Curie, a name that glows quite literally in the history of science. She was born Maria Skłodowska in Warsaw, Poland in 1867. Her father was a teacher, her mother a headmistress, and though the family had little money, their home was filled with books, curiosity, and ideas. But life was cruel to her early on. Her mother died when she was just 10. Her country was under Russian rule, and women weren't allowed to attend higher education. Yet Marie refused to accept the word impossible. When the door of education was closed to her, she found another one. Alongside other women, she attended an underground flying university, secret classes taught in hidden rooms across Warsaw. Late at night, she would study by candlelight, dreaming of a world where she could pursue science freely. She made a promise to herself. One day, she would go to Paris, the center of knowledge and discovery. Years later, she finally made it. With barely enough money to survive, she lived in a small attic, often cold and hungry, but surrounded by equations, books, and hope. At the Sorbonne University, she was one of the few women, sometimes the only one, in lecture halls filled with men. They whispered. They doubted her. But Marie was not there to prove anything to them. She was there to learn. She graduated first in her class in physics. Then she met Pierre Curie, a quiet, brilliant scientist whose mind matched her own. They married, and their partnership became one of the most extraordinary collaborations in history. Together, they studied the mysterious phenomenon of radioactivity, a term Marie herself coined. In a small, freezing laboratory that once served as a shed, they processed tons of a mineral called pitchblende, boiling and stirring it for months, until, from the dark dust, a faint blue-green glow emerged. It was radium, a new element, unlike anything known to man. Alongside polonium, named after her beloved homeland, these discoveries changed science forever. The Curie's work opened the door to understanding atomic energy, to medical X-rays, and eventually, radiation therapy that saves lives today. But their achievements came at a terrible cost. Neither of them knew the danger of the invisible rays they handled every day with bare hands. Marie often kept small samples of radium in her desk drawer, fascinated by their glow in the dark. She thought it beautiful. She didn't know it was deadly. In 1903, Marie and Pierre shared the Nobel Prize in Physics with Henri Becquerel. Marie became the first woman ever to win a Nobel Prize. But just 3 years later, tragedy struck. Pierre was hit by a horse-drawn carriage and died instantly. The world expected her to break down. Instead, she broke barriers. She took over his teaching post at the Sorbonne, becoming the first female professor in France. In 1911, she won her second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, making her the first person in history to win two. And still, society attacked her. The press wrote lies about her love life, mocked her accent, her background, her very existence. But Marie didn't care about fame or gossip. She cared only about truth. She once said, "Be less curious about people and more curious about ideas." When World War I broke out, Marie didn't hide in safety. She transformed cars into mobile X-ray units, known as Little Curies, and drove them herself to the battlefront. Over 1 million soldiers' lives were saved by her innovation. After the war, she established the Radium Institute, a center for research and cancer treatment. Even then, she continued to teach, to guide young scientists, to show the world that knowledge had no gender. Her health slowly declined, the price of a lifetime surrounded by radiation, but she never complained. In 1934, she died of aplastic anemia, caused by her years of exposure. Today, her notebooks are still radioactive, sealed in lead boxes at the National Library of Paris. To read them, one must wear protective gear. And yet, through that dangerous glow, one can still feel her presence, the warmth of her courage, the light of her curiosity. She once said, "Nothing in life is to be feared, it is only to be understood." And perhaps That is why Marie Curie remains eternal. Not just as a scientist, but as a reminder that the brightest lights in history are often those who dare to walk in the dark.